And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, dear Mr. King. Thank you for joining us on our Your Inner Circle project. We believe that 12 people who surround us determine our success and happiness, and we invite you to join this inner circle. Welcome. So, dear John, what it means to build high-performing tribes of thriving organization and become a real tribe leader. It is not an easy read, but in the end, you have many real-life cases to help you to make your next step when building or optimizing the productivity of your organization or tribe. So my first question is, people are interested in the idea of improving productivity, and this topic always is interesting for CEOs, business owners, entrepreneurs, HRDs. And is this the main idea of conception, really?
Well, yes, thank you, dear Timur. Thank you for the question. And I love this question. I think it is a really excellent place to start to think from. Yes, when I wrote the book, I was most interested in how do we help managers and leaders improve their productivity with the groups that they're working with. And so when I broke the stages down from stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The big difference in productivity is the difference between stage 3 and stage 4. So the entire purpose of the book, when you look at the book, the entire purpose of the book is how do I move myself and how do I move the people that I manage and that I lead to stage 4 so that we can improve productivity. And the reason is because when we measure the productivity between stage 3 and stage 4, it is about 3 times as powerful or 3 times as productive. So the important thing to do, if you've gotten everything that you've gotten out of where you are, is to move yourself. That's the first thing, is move yourself. And then knowing what you know, use those principles to move your group and your team to stage 4. And when you move to stage 4, you will notice within a short period of time that they are becoming more productive and they're becoming more happy with what they're doing. They actually become more enthusiastic about the job.
Cool. And making your employee happy is a way to make your customer happy, and
Yes.
Zappos proves this. Tell us about your experience with Zappos.
Well, that's exactly the right thing. And when we when we got to meet Tony Hsieh from Zappos, he's a genius, and he's a very forward-thinking leader. And he understood that he was in the internet, he was selling shoes on the internet. And so he was in the internet shoe selling business. But what he understood that made him different from anybody else was that he understood that number 1, he was in the relationship business. And number 2, he was in the internet shoe selling business. And so tribal leadership is all about you understanding that no matter what business you're in, if you're in banking or finance, or you're in retail, or you have a product, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever business you're in the relationship business first, and then you're in the business that you think you're in second.
Absolutely. My next question is about this biography or story of your theory about tribal leadership. Next year, 2023, will be 15th anniversary of books publishing. And during this period, you had opportunity to teach and provide consulting for leaders and companies worldwide.
Yes.
Literally, thousands of business leaders became aware of your conception. And as they say, I heard it myself, this conception established the full picture for me. And now I understand something that was unclear for me during 20 years of my self-development.
I got it.
So
yes.
I invite you, Mr. King, to do a superficial revise of the conception and discuss some maybe cultural differences that may exist in different cultures around the globe. So because you teach in Asia, in Middle East, in Central Asia, in US and Americas. So do you see any cultural differences that may exist in different cultures around the globe during the implementation of this conception? What do you see different from this distance of time?
This is a great question. Thank you very much for it, because it's an extremely intelligent question. We know that when we go to a different place, we are always dealing with a different culture. For example, I am in Mexico right now, which is next door to the United States. But Mexico is a very much different culture than the United States culture. You are in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, very much different culture from Moscow and from Russia. So when I talk and I think from the idea of we are in different cultures, and I appreciate that, then we can begin to get along. The important thing to understand is culturally, we are all different. We enjoy different food, we enjoy different music, we have different clothing, we have different traditions, and these are important to all of us. So culturally, we were always in a different culture. However, as a basic human being, as a man, as a woman, we are human. And in our humanity, we are the same. So in the same, by that I mean in my humanity, the way that I understand loyalty is exactly the way that you understand loyalty. The way that I understand honor and trust and those virtues, I am the same person. So when I'm talking to people of different cultures, when I'm having the privilege to talk to people from Tashkent or even Kyrgyzstan or Kazakhstan, or I'm talking to people from Armenia or Georgia, or I'm talking to people from Saudi Arabia or Jordan or Oman, I try and talk to the human part of who they are and appreciate. So my answer in a short way is to listen to and talk to and be with the human part, and to appreciate the culture and appreciate the differences of the culture.
Wow, thank you very much, John. And my next question is, I'm talking about this issue of revision of the concept, because the success of this conception implementation in different companies, in different countries, was not always the same. And cultural architecture, that term that you made up and that you are promoting, is not a cup of tea for the most CEOs, especially in cultures with strong command control or paternalistic traditions.
Yes.
What would you recommend to them, to leaders with a team on early stages of development?
This is a brilliant question, and I appreciate it, because it points to the difference between management. You were talking about these very strong paternalistic, centralized kind of companies and management concerns. So their management is on the one hand, and on the other hand is the question of leadership, which management thinks they do, but they're not doing. So there is a basic difference between management and leadership. And the basic difference is like this. Management is granted by authority. So if someone has the authority, they are the manager. And what they're managing from is they're managing to be efficient. So the thing to remember about management is granted by authority. It is to be efficient, and it is to be efficient in time. That is against a date or against a time. So authority, management, efficiency, and time. Leadership is different. Leadership is very, very different. Leadership is as different as the language of Russian and the language of French. It's different. So in the leadership conversation, we know that management is granted by authority and it is about efficiency in time. Leadership is actually it is not about efficiency. It is granted by permission of the people being led. So you can have 1,000 people that you are managing and you are the boss of and you're the manager, but if they don't give you permission to lead them to a new place, to an interesting place, to a place that actually is causing growth, then you're just doing management. Those heavy, strong, centralized functions are management from the top down. And what we want to develop is we want to develop a new way of thinking among the managers so that they're thinking about the permission of the people being led. And in the permission, we're not going for efficiency, we're going for effectiveness. So there's a difference between efficient and effective. So we're trying to become more effective, and we're trying to give them the space to be more effective, the space to thrive. So this is why we say that the secret to leadership is relationship, because it's granted by permission, it's about effectiveness, and it's about giving people space, as opposed to management, which is about authority, which is about trying to be more efficient in time.
Wow. Appreciate it, John. Tribal leadership was written based on the American cultural tradition on the early 2000s. Was published in 2008.
Yes.
And at that time, this culture already consists of coaching mindset, approaches, yes, instrument, and self-awareness practices was widely accepted among top managers. Other countries may have their own peculiar qualities.
Yes.
For example, big companies usually became ultra-bureaucratic, such strong as it can kill any kind of innovation or idea of close relationship at once.
Yes.
What would be a good point to start for companies and business leaders with this kind of bureaucratic cultures?
You know, this is people think that in 2008, the Americans were ready. They were not ready. So when I came to the companies with the idea of tribal leadership and creating it out of relationship, the managers, they were almost 100% managers also. And the managers would throw me out of their office and they would say, this is stupid. Or they would say, this is the soft stuff. Mm-hmm. And I would say to them, you have to understand that the soft stuff, which means relationship, the soft stuff is the hard stuff. The soft stuff is the hard stuff. It's hard to do it. So we had to cause a changing of the mindset for the people back in 2008 of the managers, and find people who were interested. And out of that, getting that interest, they became interested in being coached because they knew that they needed to work on their mindset around relationship. So that's one thing. The second thing is, while it grew up in America, it's based on the idea of family. So it's based on the idea that we are in relationship with one another, and that everyone in the family must be treated with dignity and with respect. So that is how we began. Now we have some people in the family that are not so effective. We have some people in the family who try and take over and run everything. We have some people in the family who want to work with everybody else. But just the idea of the family showed us that we have, because of family, we have tribes. And when we have tribes of people who think very much the same. And when they talk, their language is very much the same. And my first insight was that when you go into a company, even the companies that are top-down management, paternalistic, centralized, you have groups of people that talk in a certain way. And one of the ways that they talk at the bottom, at the ineffective way, is they say things like, they say whatever they say, it nets out to my life sucks. You know, I'm not a happy person. Nobody loves me. I'm always losing. People are about to betray me, or people have had betrayed me. So there's that kind of conversation. And there's a group of people, it's called stage 2, that is in every company, that there's a group of people, about 20%, who talk that way. Then there's a group of people who go, I'm great and you're not. And everything they talk about is, I'm great, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you, I'm stronger than you, I have more power than you, I am, I'm the boss here. This happens very much around managers. I'm great and you're not. This is called stage 3. And the stage 3 people run the stage 2. They tell them what to do. And they are not very effective. They're not very efficient with them, but they're managing them. They're in control. Their whole thing is about being in control. And then there are the people, so that's about another 40 to 50% of the people. That's a lot of the people. And if you put them together with the stage 2 and the stage 3, you've got about 70% of the people that are in any given company. And then there are the people who are, I would like to work with other people. We are good together. We work well together. I need your help. I am interested in working with you. I respect what you bring, and I respect what other people bring to this. And together we will form a kind of a partnership where we will do things together. We will work on our projects together. This is called stage 4. This is about 20% of the people. Now, the problem is they don't talk to each other. And what we want to do is we want to get the people who want to work together talking with each other and sharing and coaching each other so that they can help the people who are at stage 3 move to stage 4. And the thing about stage 3 is people at stage 3 are smart. People at stage 3 are strong. And people at stage 3 are special. And sometimes they're very special. Sometimes they're so special, it's disgusting because they're special. So what we have to do is say, well, look, could you give up being special? Could you give up being special? This is the question I have to ask, in the interest of being extraordinary. Because special is just another form of ordinary. It's just a special form of ordinary. So if you can give up being special, then you can actually surrender into other people are special also. How do we get all of these special people to give up their being the boss, their being I'm great, you're not, to being we are great together? Because the big transformation for the stage 4 company is we are great together, stage 4, and they do their thinking together. When we do that, then leadership starts, because you start leading from extraordinary rather than managing from special.
Wow, I appreciate it, John. Thank you very much for reminding us these four stages and this evolution of the tribe that could happen in the hands of the great leader, the cultural architect who will understand actually the differences between effectiveness and efficiency.
Well, sure. You know, the thing about architecture is when you're an architect, you design.
Yeah.
So you are consciously designing, and you're saying, I am going to design my group to be stage 4. Instead of, I'm going to be special and I'm going to design my group to be stage 2 and 3. If I design them to be stage 4, the productivity is 300% higher. They're much, much more productive, and people are much more happy.
Absolutely. And you have a metaphor about rock and roll and hip hop. And we have a question from our subscriber, Yana, who is asking how your experience in dance and show business helps you to be a thought leader and teacher and coach for great leaders.
Well, you know, Jana, this is a great question. When I was in show business is built on different layers and levels. And there are people who they call above the line. These are the creative people. And then they are the people who do the work, who are below the line. So when you're below the line, they're not considered to be creative. They don't, if they have something to offer, they're not paid any attention to. They're just an employee, and they can be replaced. If they're above the line, they're considered to be creative. They are part of the creative team. So if they're one part of the creative team and they say something, other people in the other part of the creative team listen to them and take it into consideration, and it'll have an impact on the total production. So stage 4 is above the line. Mm-hmm. Stage 2 and 3 are below the line. Mm. So stage 2 and 3, no matter how talented you are below the line. If you want to be above the line, you have to actually bring an attitude or a mindset of contributing to others and not getting the credit. If you're below the line, you want to get all of the credit. And it's very interesting. When you give up having to have the credit, you actually get more credit. So it's a question of giving up being special in order to be extraordinary. Extraordinary is above the line. Special is below the line.
Cool. Thank you very much, Mr. King, and thank you again for joining us on the Your Inner Circle project. We believe that 12 people who surround you determine our success and happiness, and we invite you for our next meetings that's going to be in a week, and we will discuss with you the content of your new book. The name is Cowboy Up.
Cowboy Up, yes. Yes, you will love it. It's fun. It's very fun, and it's very important for managers.
Thank you very much, and dear listeners, thank you for joining us, and see you next week at the same time, Wednesday evening, so we can join Mr. King, and we'll share your ideas, and we will be happy to see you as a participant of our podcast and web stream. Thank you very much, Mr. John.
Oh, thank you, Timur, for and thank you, Hassan. Thank you, all of you, for being here and participating. No one can do it alone. I always need partners.